What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a pretty different keyboard, I would say, one that you probably haven't seen something similar to recently, or if ever, and one that if you like LED RGBs and if you don't, you're going to be very polarized on this keyboard. This is the Wolmir K66, and I don't know if that's how you pronounced Wolmir, however you do it. If you know, feel free to roast me in the comments. Let's get started. So before we get into it, the timestamp for the key typing test, sound test, is going to be right here. Feel free to jump to that if you want to hear what the keyboard sounds like. These are Gateron blue switches, so just keep that in mind. To get into the overall information of the board, this is the Wolmir K66. It's a 66% keyboard, or 66 key keyboard. And the reason that it is 66 is because it comes with arrow keys, which 60% boards like these guys do not. So these are missing the arrow keys. They're just not present. And the Wolmir K66 does include a set of arrow keys, which for somebody like me who programs a lot, it actually is very useful because it turns this keyboard into something I use when I game to something that's actually more dynamic and I can use when I program or when I'm just browsing or whatever, because it does have arrow keys. It also allows for the average person who doesn't really know about mechanical keyboards or 60% keyboards to be able to enjoy a keyboard, a cooler one, but still have the arrow keys to be able to use like a normal keyboard that they're used to. The board is technically made up of pretty much all plastic, and the reason for that is because the base plate is made of this sandwiched fogs acrylic plastic stuff, and that basically just allows for the RGB LEDs to shine through even more, bringing in more light and kind of giving the overall aesthetic to this board. That's basically what makes it special. And surprisingly, even though it is a fully like plastic construction, it doesn't feel that way. It's actually very clean, very sturdy. I really enjoy how it feels and looks. It doesn't feel or look cheap to me. Another thing about the construction of this board is there is no height adjustments, or at least I haven't been able to figure out how they work, if there are any. It didn't come with any extra feet height adjusters, or it doesn't have any flip out feet, nothing like that. It basically seems like what you get is what you get. And it's not terrible. It definitely was a change going from my keyboard that I normally use to this one, because the one I normally use does have flip out height adjusters. I wouldn't say this one is bad. It's just a little bit different to get used to the height. It's not terrible, but again, like I say in all my videos, I do wish that these manufacturers would put feet on these, because it doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to do, and it makes a huge difference, at least for me. This board does feature a right side USB-C to USB-A cable. My setup is mostly on the left side, so I do prefer left side USB-C cables, although my main keyboard I run does have a right side one, so take that for what you will. Another cool thing about the design of this board is even though there's so much already to it that just accentuates the RGB, it actually comes with a raised key design. So there's no bezels around the edge of the board, so even more of that light can shine through and kind of come out into your setup and make it look even more RGB'd. And then last but not least, the board I got has blue Gateron switches, which normally I'm not a blue switch person. I actually don't own any blue switch boards. I have browns and reds, that's pretty much it. I didn't mind the blue switches. I thought I was gonna hate it. So far, I'm kind of liking it. Maybe it's because I haven't really used them before, but it kind of feels nice. Overall, Gateron, good job with your blue switches. I don't hate them. Now, the way that you control the board, obviously the RGBs are kind of the most important feature to it. There's two different RGB controls. The first is for the main section of the board, basically the switch lights, the switch LEDs, and the second section is for the base plate LEDs. You control the switch LEDs with using function and right control. And using those keys, you can change between 18 different lighting effects. I don't know what they count as 18 because technically you can switch between different colors as well. I don't think they count different solid colors as different effects, but still 18 is pretty good. Tons of waving effects and flashing and dynamic typing effects. So when you type, letters glow or things explode, and it looks really cool. Tons of different effects for the main part of the board. Now the second part, like I was talking about, is the base plate LEDs, and the way that you use these is using function and left control. That's the only difference. You tap control to filter through them. There's about 5, and there's like waving and fading and solid colors, and they're off. There's less for the base plate, but there's still a lot in combination with the main set of LEDs. It's kind of a lot of choices. And then you can actually hit function, control, and spacebar, and doing that basically allows you to choose a color. I've never seen this be done this way before. It's kind of cool. all the keys illuminate with different colors, and you can basically tap a key and choose that as like your primary color. And then you can use that to like set the solid color to that color. And then you can also use it to set the base plate color to that color. And it also changes a few of the RGB effects to be that solid color rather than what they were before, which could have been rainbow or something. And then you press spacebar to switch it back to the rainbow effect. Now, besides that, like I said, there are arrow keys, and then there's insert and delete keys, which you can use to step through the 4 brightness controls. There's basically like off, 30%, 60%, and then 100%. You can't control the brightness individually of the base plate versus like the switch or LEDs, but you can turn off the base plate LEDs and you can turn off the switch LEDs completely, but you can't really do like one brightness and another brightness. It's either full brightness, or it's either both are the same brightness, or one is completely off and the other is completely off, or something like that. But you can't individually control the brightnesses, is basically what I'm trying to say. One thing that I kind of don't know about this board, and I've been trying to figure it out, I'm gonna pop off one of these keys. I don't know, these aren't double shot, but I don't know what material they are, and I haven't been able to really find it online. They don't feel cheap. I'm thinking maybe they're PBT, but I really have no justifiable reason to say that. I just kind of feel like they are. I don't know why. But the LEDs do shine through the top of these keys. There's a little cutout that the LED RGBs can shine through. So don't worry about not having enough. If the rest of it wasn't enough, you're still going to get more out the top of the keys. Don't worry. Overall thoughts though. I mean, this board, for what it is super cool. I mean, I get it if you don't like RGB. That's fine. That's kind of like a meme, you know, RGB, you're set up to make it run faster, that kind of stuff. However, I think this board is super cool. It's really different. It's unique. It's on the cheaper side for a board that has this kind of like fogged acrylic feel. And the amount of brightness and color you get from it is really cool for any setup that wants to use it. Again, this is for somebody who likes the color, who likes the lights. If you don't, totally understandable. This probably isn't for you. You should not get this keyboard. If you want to kind of make your setup a little more special, kind of impress, add a little bit more flash to it, this is definitely a cool choice. And it does come in red, browns, and blue switches, I believe. They only had the blue in stock when I looked at it. But if you do want to check this board out, this full disclosure, this was sent to me by Banggood. They don't pay me for these reviews, which is why I'm free to kind of critique if I want to. I just genuinely like this board a lot. But this board was sent to me by Banggood. If you want to check it out, I do have an affiliate link in the description. It sends a little bit of kickback to me, gives you guys a nice, I think it's like $5 or $10 off. So go ahead and check that out if you want to check this board out. I think it's cool. I'm happy with it. My girlfriend actually saw it and was pretty impressed by it as well, which is kind of cool because she's not really into the whole keyboard thing. But seeing this one, she was kind of like, interesting. So definitely check this out if you want to add a little bit more flash to your setup. Now we're going to get into everybody's favorite part of these videos, the sound test. There you have it. That is the sound test for this board. Honestly, Gateron Blues, not bad. They sound pretty good. They feel pretty good. I'm happy with it. Reds would have been cool, but blues are cool too. Overall though, thank you guys for watching this review of this thing. This thing is cool. I feel, even though like, I'm going to take a second here and just appreciate y'all. I know it's kind of like a silly thing to be appreciative about, that I'm just getting sent keyboards, but it's very cool. I mean, this channel isn't a keyboard review channel, but it does give me some awesome content to continually post. I get to try out these different things, mess with my setup, which I do like to do. And it also allows me to do other videos on this channel because I get views and attention from this stuff, and it lets me kind of introduce my world to other people. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to do that. I do have some super cool stuff coming up on this channel. I have a few videos coming out about my job search or like my job journey because I got laid off like a month and a half ago. It's been crazy, but I have a couple of videos about that. I have a couple videos about some 60% boards coming out. These are, yeah, these are interesting. We'll talk about these. And I have another board right here, which is like another 66%, or this is a 63 board, 63 key board. So a lot of stuff coming to this channel. Super cool that I'm able to do this. It's really fun. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.